It was a nice summer day, and I was sitting by the lake with my husband and some friends, just having fun and enjoying life. Everything was calm and easy when suddenly my phone started beeping and vibrating like crazy. Notification after notification. They were coming faster than I could read them. She's a thief. She's a fraud. If you're working with her, you're wasting your money. She's fake. Those were the messages some random person online used to describe me in series of posts on social media. She's incompetent, they wrote. It had my picture and everything. I couldn't believe what was happening. As I was scrolling through the posts, my heart was sinking, my mind was racing, and everything inside me was spinning. It was just shortly after I was invited to be a speaker at TEDx, and before I actually started working on my speech. So I thought that this was all a huge mistake, that I should call them and tell them to find a new speaker. I thought about deleting my social media accounts, shutting down my blog, and changing my job. Although I knew that those accusations were false, my inner voice was telling me that I suck. It told me that nobody would want to keep working with me after this, that I should just give up, that I'm not worthy. Public shaming had been one of my worst fears for many years. The thought of somebody trying to humiliate me in front of thousands of people by writing something mean or sharing something false or out of context was making my stomach twist and turn. And this summer, I got to experience my small nightmare. And let me tell you, it wasn't fun at all. Luckily, I know enough about emotions and human mind to recognize what was happening. I was experiencing something called imposter syndrome. It is a feeling you get when you think that you're not capable enough, although you have education, knowledge, and measurable results that say otherwise. So I decided to approach my self-shaming with the same set of strategies I would use for my clients. First, of course, I took some deep breaths. Then I allowed the negative voice in my mind tell me whatever it had to say. I just listened without agreeing or disagreeing with it. I tried some simple mindfulness techniques, and that helped me not to go racing after every thought my mind had to offer. I decided to be a grown-up about it, so I wrote an assertive message to the person who was sharing those posts. And it all helped to some extent. But the real magic happened when I asked myself this: what is an act of self-love in this situation? If I was just a little bit more gentle and kind with myself, what would I say? I would say, screw them, they're just jealous. I'm worthy. I'm enough. I'm excellent at my job. So what if somebody said something mean? It says a lot about them and nothing at all about me. And immediately my attitude changed. It was the simplest thing ever, self-kindness. This was not the first time I witnessed how self-kindness transforms our feelings, thoughts, and experience. I have always been very interested in ways communication and human mind are connected. And in recent years, I became particularly interested in how ways we communicate with ourselves shape our experience. Take a short moment to think about this. Summer ends, and you're changing clothes in your wardrobe. You put away all your summer shirts and pants and bring out the winter clothes. But soon, you realize that nothing fits. You have gained 7 kilos during the summer. What would you say to yourself? What are the exact words that would go through your mind? Is it something like, I'm such a fat pig. I'm never going to leave house looking like this ever again. How am I going to find a partner with this beer belly and double chin? Or imagine you had an important job interview and you completely mess it up. You didn't prepare well, you didn't present yourself the way you wanted, you couldn't answer the most basic questions. What would you say to yourself? What are the exact words that would go through your mind? Is it something like, I'm so stupid. I'm never going to find a decent job. I was just sitting there, sweating like a fool, I couldn't open my mouth. Everybody else is smarter than me. Everybody else has a better career than me. Through my experience working with people, I noticed that we tend to be very critical, mean, and shaming to ourselves. If you're anything like most people, you would find the most evil words to convince yourself that life will never, ever be good again for you. Now imagine Your best friend in the whole world gains 7 kilos. Imagine your sister messes up an important job interview. What would you say to them? What are the exact words you would use? When it comes to dear people, I'm sure you would be much kinder. You would tell your friend that it doesn't matter, that 7 kilos is not that much at all, that she's capable of easily losing the weight if she wants to, but she doesn't have to because she's truly beautiful the way she is now. Maybe you would say that curvy girls are sexier. You would tell your sister that it is okay that she messed up, not to worry, she's smart. That job was probably not even good enough for her. She will find a better one very soon. So, why are we turning to self-shaming when things don't go as planned? In my opinion, there are two main reasons. First, of course, it's your parents' fault. I mean, parents are always to blame. All jokes aside, the ways your parents were treating you when you were a child plays a significant role in how you treat yourself today. This doesn't mean that your parents didn't love you, that they were abusive or neglecting you. This simply means that they were using criticism as a way of motivation. It was believed for decades that people will never improve if they feel good in their skin. So maybe your parents were just a little bit too critical to help you improve. This could go in two directions. They were either verbally and openly critical, never forgetting to point out your mistakes and always reminding you that you're not good enough. Or they were not too verbal about it, but their approach was a bit passive-aggressive. Maybe if you make a mistake, they ignore you. Or perhaps your mother would use phrases such as, "I'm sorry I disturbed your game playing with my vacuum cleaning." Secondly, self-shaming is a sign of high perfectionism. Perfectionists have a very hard time dealing with mistakes they made, even if they're very small and insignificant. They cannot separate their behavior and action from their identity, so the logic is this. As long as I'm doing everything right, as long as I'm doing everything perfectly, I'm worthy. I'm okay as a human being. But if I make a mistake, if I just make one wrong step, then I'm no longer okay as a person and I'm not worthy. The consequences of self-shaming are devastating. You could have a hard time opening up to others. Overly worried what other people might think of you, you find it very hard to relax and enjoy social interaction. You're more likely to neglect your wishes and needs in order to please somebody else. You find it difficult to say no. And this could lead to a series of bad relationship choices. Procrastination is also a sign of self-shaming. You worry too much that you will not be able to do things good enough, so you delay starting at all. You feel less joyful, more anxious, and this could lead to feeling unworthy or to creating some mental health problems. So this summer, I decided to conduct a small research. 35 volunteers agreed to help me determine how self-kindness affects our life satisfaction. All participants were given a simple assignment. They were supposed to write self-kindness journal every day for 3 weeks. I explained to them that they should write about daily lives, but in a way that is kind and nurturing. If they do something good, they should write about it. They should mention it, take some time to appreciate it, even if it was something very small. If they make a mistake, they should write that they made a mistake, and then find kind ways to explain to themselves that it is not the end of the world and that one mistake doesn't make them a failure. They were supposed to write to themselves the same way they would write to a dear friend. All participants were tested before the project and after those 3 weeks. And results were expected, but still amazing. After only 3 weeks of practicing self-kindness daily, all participants noticed positive changes. They report their ability to resolve everyday problems increased by 15% on average. Their anxiety levels dropped by 60% on average, and their life satisfaction increased by 20% on average. They report feeling more optimistic, joyful and self-confident, and less worried about other people's opinion. They were more productive, and they found it much easier to relax. Self-kindness doesn't mean we become ignorant about things we are doing wrong. Otherwise, we would just go through life feeling like gods on earth and believing that we are the best thing that ever happened to the mankind. Instead, we should be gentle with our flaws. We should be aware of them, we should try to improve them, but at the same time know that we deserve to be loved and respected in spite of all our imperfections. It means that we should eat more healthy, not because we are fat pigs, but because we love our bodies and we want to offer them the best food. It means that after failing an exam, we shouldn't study harder because we are stupid idiots, but because we forgive ourselves for making a mistake and we know that we can do so much better next time if we only try just a little bit harder. Healthy self-kindness should never be separated from healthy self-criticism. Otherwise, we would end up doing horrible things to each other without the ability to evaluate our behavior and correct harmful patterns. It means that we are gentle with our flaws, but at the same time aware that after all, we are only humans, imperfect, a little broken, scared, and most times without the idea, what the hell are we doing here? Self-kindness comes natural to some people. The rest of us, we had to work on it. And the easiest way to do so is, of course, to practice. So the next time you start feeling that negative thoughts are starting to overwhelm you, ask yourself this simple question. What would I say to my best friend if she was in my shoes? And before your brain jumps to decide that the same should not apply to you, use those friendly words on yourself. At the beginning, it will feel awkward and stupid and strange. But eventually, you will realize that you're not worse than your friends and that you deserve to be treated with the same care and kindness. Self-kindness is important. It is the key to our productivity, life satisfaction, and feeling of self-worth. It is the thing that will push you to start achieving your dreams because you know you deserve to at least try. It is the thing that will get you out of the bad relationship you know isn't good enough for you. It is the thing that will help you heal after life hits you hard in the face. It is the thing that will get you to enjoy small moments in life, simple sunsets with your partner, barbecue with friends, or movie night without feeling the terror of not being productive enough. It is the feeling that will get you to realize how truly beautiful, smart, and amazing you are. Self-kindness will help you get wherever you want in life. And when you stumble on your way, and at some point you most certainly will, self-kindness will help you get up, learn from your mistakes, and move on instead of staying stuck for ages. Because as long as you have yourself on your side, you will be able to make it work in life. Thank you.